about crime in Los Angeles, crime in LA. And the question is crime up? Some might say, based on just, tapping in with the news, seeing what's going on in a particular hood, yeah, crime is going up on my block. I remember I talked to American Cholo, and he measures he measures the crime rate based on what's going on his block in North Hollywood. I'm like, bro, that's a very narrow way to look at it.
And the scale is based on, like the metrics is based on what, Los Angeles County,
Yeah, the whole city.
city or county?
This one is gonna be this article I have here is referencing. Actually, it's the county. So let me read this a little bit. It says here, does perception match reality when it comes to crime in Los Angeles? This is an article from ABC 7 News, and I have a link to this in the show notes below. But according to the data, crunched crime data, when you look at just in the city of LA, all types of crime are trending downward. While there have been more than 15,000 violent crimes committed in LA during the first 8 months of the year, this is up to August 31st, crime is down 17% from the same period in 2024. For LA County, there's data comparing crime now versus before the pandemic. Homicides, robberies are below pre-pandemic levels. In the county, however, aggravated assaults are up by 22%. And because of this spike, overall violent crime rate has ticked up 5%. Burglaries, though, are below pre-pandemic levels. Now, flocking would fall under burglaries, right?
That's what, yeah.
Yeah. So burglaries are down countywide. In most types of crime, if most types of crimes are trending lower, why does it feel like it's so much? Why does it feel like? And it says here, a professor from UCLA says that social media is amplifying crime coverage on the news, and true crime series on television and documentaries are more popular than ever. If we think we've got a collective PTSD, and I'm not being flippant, she says, this is Professor Georgia Leap, you got to divert yourself in what you do watch. And I believe that wholeheartedly, that we are influenced by what we watch.
And listen to,
And yeah, all of that.
because the music, like I hear now, like they had name drop who they popped on, who they had skits and beef with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And even if you're listening to us, we cover a lot of crime in the city. And listening to Straight Politicking, you might think crime is up. I'm just covering certain stories that I think are newsworthy. It doesn't mean that crime is up. It doesn't mean murders and homicides are up. And if you watch the news at 11 o'clock at night, they always start off with crime. The first 3 to 4 minutes is crime, no matter what. Even if crime is down, if it's up, they start off with crime because that's how they get their ratings. I don't think we're using the word ratings anymore. That's how they get their clicks and views.
man, all right. At one point, I used to watch the news heavy, but the COVID messed it up because all they was talking about was COVID related stuff. Like they wasn't talking about nothing no more.
It got boring, right?
Yeah, but sometimes I used to watch the news. They report on dumb shit like a cat in the tree type. Get up, I'm like, wow, why is they talking about this? Why is this even newsworthy? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah, they got to. Well, I think the goal is to balance the news off with feel good stories, and of course the grimy shit, because they don't want to mess up people's mental health. That's why you see those cat caught in the tree, and the fire department had to come get it out of the tree, because they just want to balance off your the stories and not mess up people's mental health. Imagine if we watched our news for 30 minutes and it was all crime. Our mentals would be getting messed up.
Yeah, but I was like, why is this on the news? Like, so and so is reunited with her dog after been missing for 3 weeks. I'm like, they got some nerve. It's a lot like really going on out here, and they, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, if I was a news director, I would probably balance the news off in a whole different way than we see it. But it's also motivated by sponsors, advertisers, ratings, all that other shit.
Right.
So they got a method to it, and that's why it is. But there's so many channels now. And even if you don't want to pay for it, there's so many free apps you could connect to your TV, and watch. I watch news sometimes. I'll pick a channel in the middle of Iowa and watch a news channel there because I see it there. I'm like, what the hell are they doing in Iowa? And it's like no drama news, no crime, no drug dealing, no gang banging. It's like a whole different type of news.
Okay, are the different states I done been to, and let's just say I'm in a room and the news is on. What I notice with our news versus other state news, whether it's St. Louis, Denver, Atlanta, Florida, what I notice is they don't have high speed pursuits. Like us, breaking news be the helicopter and somebody switching 4 lanes trying to get on. Like they don't like high speed pursuits is not really a thing in different states.
Well, I know in New York it's very difficult to have high speed pursuits.
Oh yeah, for sure. You got to get out on foot and brake.
Yeah, it's definitely a California thing.
Yeah, bro. Like you know what I'm saying, for the viewers that's tapped in, like look it up, bro. How many high speed pursuits happen in different states, bro, versus here? And I noticed that like I done been zoned out. You know what I'm saying, is like on the news, and then like when I'm visiting different places, and I'm like, ain't nobody getting, everybody's about to pull over.
Hey, how come more people don't take the police on a journey into Inglewood and by the airport when they're on a high speed pursuit?
Because hold on, why they don't or do?
Yeah, why they don't? Because if they do,
right,
they can shake the
helicopter,
the bird.
It's a no fly zone.
And then if they're really good at what they do, they can probably. I think it's easier getting away from a car than it is the helicopter. You know?
Yeah, once the bird up, you in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
But I've seen a dude had the bird was up, but a dude was hitting these little bridges, and what he did was
bridges. What state was this?
I don't remember what state it was, but he would go under these little bridges, and then of course he'd pop out on the other side. But one time on one of the bridges, he stood underneath there and tricked the helicopter, and then the helicopter wasn't sure, like, hey, which way did this guy go? But he just stayed parked under the bridge and was out of sight. And I think he got out and went on foot, changed his clothes, went on foot, and got into some a neighborhood, but they did eventually catch him because he had on like yellow sneakers on, and that's what got him. That's what got him caught. But yeah, there are ways to trick the bird, but you got to be really good and you got to have the right terrain around you. What about if you go into neighborhoods that have a lot of trees, a lot of bushes, trees that grow tall, and you can't see the street from the air?
They get the dispatch and they're trying to communicate well. If you got like areas like that, the people that's policing the area, they already know that. You know what I'm saying? So they know they set up perimeters real quick, and you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't got on from the police for sure, the bird and the police. Like, and then I attempted to do it in Compton and got caught quite quickly. Good, because like it seemed like when I was in Compton trying to get on, the bird was already in the air. It seemed like it was already babysitting the air or something. Like, I'm like, I'm from Inglewood. I'm used to like just footing, you know what I'm saying? And we don't have a helicopter. I just got to run from these dudes with these tight ass uniforms. But like when it happened in Compton, I'm like, bro, it's just crazy.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I noticed the city of LA does a good job at cutting their trees and trimming their trees that really overgrow the street. Sometimes you'll see the city out there just chopping shit down. That's because they're trying to keep it visible. Mm-hmm. And I remember years ago, Fort Knox, which is the most secure place in America, this is probably the most the hardest place to rob. They used to have a bunch of trees around Fort Knox, and they cut every single tree. There are no trees, no trees around Fort Knox. It's completely open, and I guess they felt like all those trees was a security issue.
All right, for the viewers, y'all ever seen Training Day? And at the end, when he was on the red end, that dead end street, like you put in your own work around here, you know what I'm saying? Denzel had got shot, you know what I'm saying? That area is called the Jungles. And they got that particular name because of the landscape of the trees and stuff like that, right? Because I believe they got the little, you know what I'm saying? So if you're looking above from a helicopter, you go get the jungle experience looking from above.
Yeah, that's definitely why they call that the Jungles, because there's a whole lot of trees and a whole lot of shrubbery and vegetation. Mm-hmm. Especially, there's a street that is completely covered. I don't know if it still is, but August. If you drive through August, you're completely under trees. You wouldn't be visible from a helicopter on that street August between just east of Nicolette, all under trees. So I don't know. They probably trimmed it up since then.